All emotions are an expression of love. That is the controversial title of this episode. And maybe that sounds crazy to you. You might think, well, love is the only emotion that expresses love. But that is not the case. Let's find out why and what it means to you and your happiness if you accept this new perspective. One of the biggest problems for most humans, including me for the longest time, is that we shy away from negative emotions. Humans have a huge range of emotions that we can experience. Still, we decided to separate them into positive and negative emotions, or desired or undesired emotions, empowering and disempowering emotions. But none of these descriptions give justice to what emotions truly are. They are all an expression of love. And I will share with you today why that is the case and a technique on how to adjust your emotional state to feel even more love in your life. I see it time and time again with my students, friends, family members, colleagues at work, that they focus on moving away from those so-called negative emotions because they are deemed to be negative, hurtful, and uncomfortable. And I get it. I agree with all of those descriptions. But that doesn't mean that you feel less of them just because you run away from them. The opposite is true. A huge part of humanity got itself into a pickle by becoming champions and running away from their emotions, especially the negative ones. We created a wide range of tools to avoid experiencing those feelings. For example, suppressing them, literally shoving them down inside of us. And the funny thing is that they are still there. They keep popping up, don't they? So by shoving them down, we just kept them closer to us and allowed them to just do its thing, sometimes at the worst possible time. And other tools we have are avoidance, ignorance, denying them, and numbing ourselves with food, drugs, or alcohol to not feel them, thinking that this will make them go away. But the opposite happens. They are constantly present because we keep them close through that resistance. We mismanage them with the brilliant tools that we acquired. But what happens is that they are just hovering inside of us, just waiting for another chance to pop up and finally be felt and released. And that happens, of course, when we take our focus off of managing them, or better, mismanaging them. The thing is that all emotions are part of the human experience. Emotions are energy that makes us feel something inside of us, inside of our body. They are just vibrating at different levels. Each emotion has its own frequency at which it vibrates. And I agree that we don't want to live a life where we feel most of our time low vibrating emotions. Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying. However, the tools that we trained ourselves to use for these negative emotions are just not working. It's not the solution towards a life where we feel more of the good emotions on a regular basis. If you truly would lead a life where your normal state of being is based on love, peace, harmony, and joy, then you would not mind feeling at times maybe sad, frustrated, down, or anxious. When you have reached that kind of state of being, you are on a level of consciousness where you realize that it's all energy, that it's all love, and that there is nothing wrong with feeling grief, anger, despair, or fear. On that level of consciousness, the difference is that you release the emotions once it has been felt, instead of suppressing them, numbing them, or avoiding them, and then creating that inner resistance and these emotional blockages inside of your energy system. Humans on that level of consciousness are welcoming these emotions and allow them to be felt fully. They accept them for what they are, which is a part of the human experience and the expression of love. Every emotion has a different frequency that is measurable. You can find various infographics on the internet sharing the frequency of your emotions. Here's an example for you. And the funny thing is that love is not even the highest vibrating emotion we can experience. But that is what most people believe, and that's why I choose to use the word love when I talk about that all emotions are an expression of love. But you can exchange that word love with source, God, universal energy, oneness, wholeness, or everything there is. Whatever works best for you to describe the highest state of existence, the highest vibration of energy. And our emotional range is just a scale, a little part of vibration of energy that express our emotions from shame to enlightenment. But in the end, it's all the same energy. It's all coming from the same source, and it wants to move back to the same source. Shame is a certain vibration of love. If you look at the emotion of shame through the perspective of source, God, or the universe, then it's a cry for acceptance. A person feeling ashamed just wants to be accepted and experience acceptance. Guilt is a certain vibration of love. When we have a reason to feel guilty, it means we are asking for forgiveness, either from others or ourselves. From the perspective of source, a person feeling guilty wants to become whole again by being forgiven. Grief is a vibration of love. When we lose something that is dear to our hearts, we feel grief because we want to remember this person, the situation, the object that we just lost. We don't want to forget, so we feel grief in remembrance of what we had. Fear is a vibration of love that we experience every time we don't feel safe. In an instance where we can't feel safe, where we feel fear, all that we want is to feel safe again. From the perspective of source or oneness, a fearful person is trying to find their way back to source as it classifies it as safe. What happens when we feel those lower vibrating emotions is that we move further and further away from source, God, universal energy, than we would be if we felt, for example, peace, joy, or love. And all we ever want and desire is to move back to source. That doesn't mean that it's wrong or bad to feel these emotions. They are a response to an experience in your life. If you lose a loved one, it's natural to grieve. If you have harmed someone else, it's normal to feel guilty. If you step out of your comfort zone and do something completely new, it's a natural response to feel fear. These are all responses that match the experience you are having, if you allow them to be felt fully. If you deny them, if you suppress them, if you numb them, that's when things start to go wrong and get out of balance. We don't allow ourselves to feel these negative emotions, so we create an imbalance inside of our system. We store the emotion attached to the memory of the experience inside of us, where it is just waiting to be released one day. And every time you get triggered or you have a similar experience again, the emotion pops up as it is a cry to be felt and released. It just wants to leave and be released. And because we don't allow ourselves to feel the emotion fully, what happens is we shove it down again and again, every time it pops up. And it grows inside of us, creating energy blockages, imbalance, and disease. Mental and, in the end, even physical disease. So what can you do next time you feel a negative emotion? The first and most important step is to become aware of it, right? If you have no awareness of feeling such an emotion, you can't do anything about it. You stay stuck in your usual routine and will use one of the tools to suppress the emotion again. But by becoming aware, you suddenly have a choice. It gives you the power of choice to not make the same choice as you did the day before. So how about next time you feel such an emotion and you become aware of it, ask yourself how far away you have come from source. and why. If you catch yourself being angry, ask yourself what this anger is trying to tell you. If you allow yourself to feel the anger fully and release it, what would you feel afterwards, once it's over? Maybe peace, understanding, compassion. What if you take the perspective of Source or God? What could you see in yourself feeling that anger? A cry for harmony, a cry for contentment, a cry for joy? How powerful would it be if you don't dismiss the emotion that is just popping up, but rather warrant its existence and experience it? Allow it to be what it is, just another expression of love, just another part of being human. Okay, I hope I inspired you today with that new perspective on emotions. I gave you today a new lens to look through, add the full range of emotions that we all have at our disposal. And we have them for a reason. And let me tell you, the reason is not to run away from them. That is never the solution. Let me know what happens when you tried out this new perspective. I would love to hear from you. It's immensely powerful to accept all our emotions as empowering, as positive, and as desirable. It gives us a possibility to release all that we shoved inside of us until this moment in time, because let me tell you, there is a lot to be released. Yes, I can confirm that just from my own experience of releasing my stuck emotions for the last couple of years. Thank you so much for watching this video with me today. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon and bye-bye.